Buenos días, buenas tardes o buenas noches. Saludos desde Cuba. Hoy haremos una clase diferente. Hoy aprenderemos español cantando. Y te voy a presentar la última canción de 6ix9ine en una colaboración junto al cantante cubano Lenier. No te pierdas esta clase porque en esta clase vas a ver cómo se habla el verdadero español. Y te vas a divertir también cantando. ¡Comencemos!
Hoy quiero confesarme.
The first words in the song are performed by the Cuban singer Lenier, and it says, Hoy quiero confesarme. Today, I want to confess myself. Hoy quiero confesarme.
Confesar mi pecado.
Confesar mis pecados. Confess my sins. Notice that in the first part he said, quiero confesarme. He uses the enclítico me, confesarme. But in this part, since he's going to confess something, he uses the infinitive. So, confesar mis pecados, confess my sins.
Quiero contarle mi historia.
Quiero contarle mi historia. I want to tell you my story. Quiero contarle mi historia. To who? To you. Quiero contarle mi historia.
Que a nadie se la he contado.
Que a nadie se la he contado. Which I have told no one. Que a nadie se la he contado. So in this case, 6ix9ine is saying that this is the first time he's going to tell his story.
Cuando tenía 7 años.
Cuando tenía 7 años, when I was 7 years old, cuando tenía 7 años. Remember that in Spanish, you are not old, you have years. So in this case, cuando tenía 7 años, when I was 7 years old,
Mamá y papá se separaron.
mamá y papá se separaron. Mom and dad broke up, separated. Mamá y papá se separaron. And notice that I use the reflexive pronoun se. Because if I wouldn't use it, I would say, for example, mamá y papá separaron las manzanas de los plátanos. But I use the reflexive pronoun se because I want to convey the idea that they separated, they broke up. Mamá y papá se separaron.
Fueron pocos los momentos buenos.
Fueron pocos los momentos buenos. There were few good moments. Fueron pocos los momentos buenos. And here I want you to notice two things. One is that I can replace the word hubo for the word fueron. In this case, fueron pocos los momentos buenos. There were few good moments. But I can also say hubo pocos momentos buenos. Fueron pocos los momentos buenos. There were few good moments. And the second thing that I want you to notice is that in real speaking Spanish, even when we have to pronounce the S's, we usually don't do it. And in this case, the singer says, fueron pocos los momentos buenos. Fueron pocos los momentos buenos. Okay, he doesn't pronounce the S's. Fueron pocos los momentos buenos. Okay, that's the real Spanish, how we speak it.
Y fueron muchos los momentos malos.
Y fueron muchos los momentos malos. And there were many bad moments. Y fueron muchos los momentos malos. Again, he says, y fueron muchos los momentos malos. Y fueron muchos los momentos malos. Right? He doesn't pronounce the S's.
Yo nunca tuve juguetes.
Yo nunca tuve juguetes. I never had toys. Yo nunca tuve juguetes. Remember that I can omit the personal pronoun if I want to, so I can say nunca tuve juguetes, and that's fine. But here he wants to make a lot of emphasis in the personal pronoun, so that's why he says yo. Yo nunca tuve juguetes. I never had toys. Yo nunca tuve juguetes.
A mí Santa Claus nunca me dio regalo.
A mí Santa Claus nunca me dio regalos. Santa Claus never gave gifts to me. A mí Santa Claus nunca me dio regalos. Notice the reflexive pronoun me, okay? Because to whom Santa Claus did not give presents? To me. A mí Santa Claus nunca me dio regalos.
Yo solo tuve una guitarra sin cuerdas.
Yo solo tuve una guitarra sin cuerdas. I only had a guitar with no strings. Yo solo tuve una guitarra sin cuerdas. And again, he says, yo solo tuve una guitarra sin cuerda. Alright, he doesn't pronounce the S's.
Y un micrófono de palo.
Y un micrófono de palo. And a wooden microphone. Y un micrófono de palo. Anyway, palo is the equivalent in English is stick. Alright, so he had a stick, a piece of wood, and he pretended to be a microphone. That's why he says, y un micrófono de palo, and a wooden microphone. I think it is the proper translation. Let me know if you agree with me with the translation.
Aprendí de los falsos amigos.
Aprendí de los falsos amigos. I learned from the false friends. Aprendí de los falsos amigos. And this is something that in our life, unfortunately, we have very often false friends. When we are in good times, we have many friends, but some of them are fake, are false. And in this case, he's saying, aprendí de los falsos amigos. But remember, when we are in bad times, when we are in hard times, that's when you can test and you can know who your real friends are.
Aprendí a ignorar los ingratos.
Aprendí a ignorar los ingratos. I learned to ignore the ungrateful. Aprendí a ignorar los ingratos. But again he says, aprendí a ignorar los ingratos. So, okay, he doesn't pronounce the S, so keep that in mind. And in Spanish, we don't pronounce the S's very often at the end of the word. Anyway, if you are an anchor of a TV show, for example, you need to do it. You need to pronounce the S's because that's the correct way to speak. But in the street, usually people don't do it a lot.
Pero siempre caminé con los pies sobre la tierra porque no tuve zapatos.
Pero siempre caminé con los pies sobre la tierra porque no tuve zapatos. But I always walked with my feet on the ground because I didn't have shoes. This demonstrates that he had a very hard childhood because he didn't have shoes. And it's like a metaphor because it means that today he knows what it's like to be poor and he doesn't think that he's the best of the world or anything. So he knows where he comes from. So, caminé con los pies sobre la tierra porque no tuve zapatos.
Sufrir me tocó a mí en esta vida.
Sufrir me tocó a mí en esta vida. I had to suffer in this life. Sufrir me tocó a mí en esta vida. In Spanish, when something te toca, it means that you have to do it. For example, I can say, soy el hermano mayor. Me toca ayudar a mi hermano. I am the big brother, so I have to help my little brother. It's my duty. I have to do it. I have no choice. Okay? That's what it means.
Llorar cuando ni lágrimas tenía.
Llorar cuando ni lágrimas tenía. Cry when I didn't have tears. I didn't even have tears because I cried too much and I didn't have tears, but I cried anyway. Llorar cuando ni lágrimas tenía.
Pero siempre supe que mi suerte llegaría.
Pero siempre supe que mi suerte llegaría. I always knew that my luck would come. Pero siempre supe que mi suerte llegaría.
El chamaquito del barrio.
El chamaquito del barrio. The little boy from the neighborhood. Or the kid from the neighborhood. El chamaquito del barrio. Chamaquito is the short word for chamaco, and chamaco means boy or kid, depending on the context and the situation. And this means that he still is el chamaquito del barrio, the kid from the neighborhood.
La leyenda viva.
La leyenda viva, the living legend. La leyenda viva. And in this case, viva works as an adjective and it modifies the noun legend. La leyenda viva.
Cuando no había pan para desayuno, me conformaba.
Cuando no había pan para el desayuno, me conformaba. Anyway, he says, cuando no había pan para el desayuno, me conformaba. Pal is like a contraction of para el. Okay, you can't use it in informal scenarios or for writing a composition, for example, but in the street it's very used. So pal, para el. Cuando no había pan para el desayuno, me conformaba. When there was no bread for breakfast, I was content, I was satisfied. Because I was poor. That's what he wants to convey.
Cuando no había carro caminaba.
Cuando no había carro, caminaba. When there was no car, I walked. Cuando no había carro, caminaba. Because, in this case, he's trying to say that he has a humble past, so he didn't have a car, so what did he do? He walked.
Antes me sentía el dueño de todo.
Antes me sentía el dueño de todo. Before, I felt like the owner of everything. Antes me sentía el dueño de todo.
Ahora soy el mismo bobo con dinero y fama.
Ahora soy el mismo bobo con dinero y fama. Now I am the same fool with money and fame. Ahora soy el mismo bobo con dinero y fama. But I am the same. I am the same guy. I just only have more money and now I'm famous. But I am the same.
Ahora me miran los que ayer no me miraban.
Ahora me miran los que ayer no me miraban. Now, those who didn't look at me, they look at me now. Ahora me miran los que ayer no me miraban.
Ahora me tiran los mismos que me ignoraban.
Ahora me tiran los mismos que me ignoraban. Now, criticize me. Okay, now those who used to ignore me, now they criticize me. Something like that, because in Spanish, tirar, it means literally to throw. But that's why the urban artists, urban singers do. You know that in this type of music, they always are criticizing to each other, and that sells a lot. And this singer has problems with this singer, and they make a song criticizing this one, and then this one answers to this one. That's what in Spanish is called tirar. Okay, literally means throw, but that's what also means in Spanish. So tell me what the translation in English would that be? Because I don't really know. Sorry for that.
Antes perdía, nunca ganaba.
Antes perdía, nunca ganaba. Before, in the past, before, I lost. I used to lose. I never won. Remember that in this case is the copretéritum. So antes perdía. I used to lose. Nunca, never, nunca ganaba. I never won.
Y ahora en este juego soy la ficha que faltaba.
Y ahora en este juego soy la ficha que faltaba. Now in this game I am the missing piece. Y ahora en este juego soy la pieza que faltaba. It means that now I am important. Now I am a real deal.
Pero mi padre a mí me cuida desde arriba.
Pero mi padre a mí me cuida desde arriba. But my father watches over me from above. Pero mi padre a mí me cuida desde arriba. In this case, he's talking about God. I don't think he's talking, maybe he's talking about his father, but I don't think so. Maybe his father is dead and he's dead and he's trying to say that his father is watching him from above. But I guess he's talking about God, sobre Dios. Yo creo que él está hablando sobre Dios por lo que dice a continuación.
Y por el buen camino él me guía.
Y por el buen camino él me guía. And on the right path he guides me. Y por el buen camino él me guía. And in this case, remember again, in this case I use the reflexive pronoun me guía. Because if I say, for example, él guía a las vacas, he guides the cows, okay? But in this case, who does he guide? He guides me guía, okay? That's why I use the reflexive pronoun.
Y yo solo le pido que me dé salud.
Y yo solo le pido que me dé salud. Okay, but he says, y yo solo le pido que me dé salud. And usually, that's what we do in Spanish. When a word ends in a D, we say, for example, salud. We don't say salud. That is the correct way to say the correct way to say it, but we say salud. Y solo le pido que me dé salud. I only ask him to give me health. Y solo le pido que me dé salud. That's why I told you before that I guess he's talking about God, because, you know, God has the power to give health to the people on the earth.
Y bendición pa' mi familia.
Y bendición para mi familia. And blessing for my family. Y bendición para mi familia. In this case again, he uses the word pa instead of para. Para is the correct word, but in the slang, on the streets, we use the word pa. Okay?
Ahora tengo gente que me odia.
Ahora tengo gente que me odia. Now I have people who hate me. Ahora tengo gente que me odia. In this case, notice that he omits the personal pronoun yo. He could have said, ahora yo tengo gente que me odia, but it's not necessary, so he omits it. Ahora tengo gente que me odia.
Ahora tengo gente que me quiere.
Ahora tengo gente que me quiere. Now I have people who love me. Ahora tengo gente que me quiere.
Dicen que los hombres como yo.
Dicen que los hombres como yo. Dicen. ¿Quién dice? Who say that? Dicen. They say. Dicen que los hombres como yo. They say that men like me. Dicen que los hombres como yo. In this case, The personal pronoun they, ellos, is omitted. Ellos dicen que los hombres como yo, but it's understandable that the personal pronoun is they, so dicen que los hombres como yo.
No se olvidan ni se mueren.
No se olvidan ni se mueren. Are not forgotten nor dead. Ni se olvidan ni se mueren.
Sufrir me tocó a mí.
And now the chorus is repeated. Sufrir me tocó a mí.
En esta vida.
En esta vida. I had to suffer in this life. Remember in the previous time that we saw the chorus. Sufrir me tocó a mí en esta vida. I have to suffer.
Cuando ni lágrimas tenía.
Again, llorar cuando ni lágrimas tenía. Llorar cuando ni lágrimas tenía.
Pero siempre supe.
Pero siempre supe. But I always knew.
Que mi suerte llegaría.
Que mi suerte llegaría. That my luck would come. Que mi suerte llegaría.
El chamaquito del barrio.
El chamaquito del barrio. Remember, he's the same little boy, the same kid from the neighborhood. El chamaquito del barrio.
La leyenda viva.
La leyenda viva. The living legend. La leyenda viva. 6ix9ine, my friends. Y esto es todo, amigos. Espero que la hayas pasado bien, que hayas cantado, que hayas gozado, que te hayas divertido conmigo, con 6ix9ine y con el español, este idioma tan hermoso que nos hace enamorarnos de él cada día más. Si es así, no te olvides de darme un me gusta, suscríbete y no te olvides de darle a la campanita. Vamos, hombre, que es gratis. Ayúdame a seguir haciendo contenido como este. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos en el próximo video.